Hello, testing 1, 2. Okay. All right. I want to thank everybody online for tuning in. The show is going to start momentarily.
So, Matadors, Walls, Roadmap, Harvest.
All right, so I want to thank everybody for tuning in, coming out on this Easter evening. This is a pretty cool, intimate show that we're doing tonight. And I've known Chris for a long, long time. Saw him first probably close to 30 years ago in a little coffee house in New Orleans called...
I'm not that old.
The Penny Post.
Yeah, he is.
All right, it was 5 years ago. And and I was very impressed with him back then, and we became friends and kind of, basically interacted with each other over the years. At one point, I had a little software company, and I was selling shareware, and people were... I had an office where we were sending stuff out, and Chris got signed to Flying Fish Records, I believe, right? Same label with Soul Asylum. And so we were like his press people, right? He would travel around the country. The record label would send promotional material to us. He would let us know where he was playing next. We would send out posters and other stuff like that. And so I've worked with him over the years. And he's really an interesting guy with a very unique take. I don't even know who you can really compare him to. So... So I'm just going to say, hey, everybody, if you have not seen Chris and Paul, you're in for a treat. And without further ado, everybody welcome Chris Chandler and Paul Benoit.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate that.
Gracias.
Understand that this poem is going to take place in a split second, such as the split second between when a trapeze artist flies and she grasps the hand of her catcher.
Fly, you girl. You whistle in the morning and you start to twirl to deal with the yearning, and you found a pearl. The whole town burning.
Ladies and gentlemen, I thought, but the words would not come. 100,000 times before they had flown freely, but now I'm finally playing at the PinChurch in Metairie, Louisiana, and I have stage fright. I reach into my vest pocket of my red velvet jacket to check my notes. Yep, that's what it says, all right, but the words will not come.
This city of bridges could leave you in stitches and riding on 2 wheels. Could drive you to ditches. You're better in the air than behind the switches.
I peek through the red velvet curtain into a sea of faces waiting to be entertained. Their eyes glint at me like the lights of a ship if viewed from underneath the water. Fish cannot see above the water. Sometimes on a clear day, they can make out movements, gestures, even danger. Because they are aware that there is another world possible, one beyond their water, within our air. For as Einstein pointed out, reality is merely an illusion. albeit a persistent one. Perhaps the only thing between us is a red velvet curtain.
Your red hair glows like a late night ember, and everybody knows. But sometimes they can't remember, and the ones that you thrill, they're all standing still.
Performer and audience must work together, and that includes you at home. Must work together in order for us to make this performance right here so powerful that it can convince the world that there is another way possible. The only thing between us is a red velvet curtain, and my friends, that curtain must go up.
And every day's a stage, and everyone's a player, so girl, just turn the page. Your stunts are your prayers, you're waiting for a show. You're waiting for a show.
The house lights go to half, and then they go out, and a hushed silence befalls the crowd. And that, my friends, is the most important moment in the universe. Because in that moment, anything can happen, and it usually does. But only if someone is willing to dive in. So I do so, and I look at you and I realize I can't swim. But I see the school performing loops and loops and flips and turns. But it's my moment to add something to the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, but still the words will not come.
And if you go freely, you won't feel your own weight. And if you go freely, you won't feel your own weight. And if you go freely, you won't feel your own way.
The stage manager is backstage with a hook. In terror, I break from the school, hungry, alone, eyeing a silver spinner, and I'm thinking, it's dinner time. But as soon as I take a bite, this magic string sucks me out of the known universe, and I find myself on the deck of this ship. I am floundering about. There are aliens wearing bright orange vests and baseball hats that say things like, "Who farted? I can't breathe in the alien's atmosphere."
You wake up in the evening, wondering what the day was for, and you learned about gravity, and that less was more. You're moving your body. You're moving your body.
The curtain begins to rise, and there is a polite spattering of applause that sputters into an uncomfortable silence, and still the words will not come. The silence becomes heckles. As soon as it is fruit that starts to fly freely, I remove my red velvet jacket. Use it as a shield to block the fruit, but somewhere in a New Orleans alternative universe, this bull sees it as a cue to charge. The audience begins to applaud. The audience begins to applaud. And then I realize that you are rooting for the bull.
And every day you're thrown, and every day you tumble, and like a flower grown, you're feeling humble. You're waiting for the show. You're waiting for the show.
But I don't care that you are rooting for the bull, because tonight I am playing the PinChurch, I don't know what to call this, social club? And I must be Myro the Magnificent, the heralded, greatest, undisputed, undefeated matador of all time. But then I had the sinking revelation that the bull really is charging, and that all living matadors are undefeated.
And if you go freely, you won't feel your own weight. And if you go freely, you won't feel your own weight. And if you go freely, you won't feel your own way.
The stage manager has set down the hook and replaced it with a butterfly net. The aliens scoop me back into the water, where I witness a beatific ballet. being performed by a school of much smaller fish in an effort to convince a larger fish that they are enormous, which is not unlike the reason we insecure performers will immolate ourselves on stage in an effort to make you believe we are all enormous. I try to join them. But I've been doing this for nearly 40 years now, and at this point, I'm just that old guy with a hook in his mouth, trying to convince the fish that there is another universe possible. Naturally, they don't believe me. They put me on a talk show where I'm trying to convince some blowfish named Tucker Carlson that there is another way possible. They don't believe me. I am a laughing stock. But at least they are laughing, because when they are laughing, I can fly.
You fly through the air with a soft breeze blowing, and you don't even care what the people think they're knowing, and the ones that you thrill, they're all standing still.
There are many ways for us to convince the world that there is another way possible. One beyond this world of dreary theater seats and stale, greasy popcorn. But the only time that we can do that is in a split second.
And if you go
It's a split second when fish can walk, one in which the bull trades in his horns for a sword, one in which the bird is free from the chains of the sky. The curtain is up, and I realize that I am right, that this, the PinChurch, is the alternative universe.
And if you go
That this right here is the split second between when a trapeze artist flies and she grasps the hand of her catcher, which is the same as the split second between two hands clapping. Thank you. Had to get that out of my system. So this is a cool scene you guys have got going here. I've never been here before.
Very cool.
Little 1978 mom's basement kind of feel to it.
It's like a casino. You don't know what time it is. It could be 3 o'clock out there. I don't know. I walked out and I thought it was like midnight, and it was still light out earlier. So who knows what's going to happen?
I found my inner child. But somebody else's inner child beat him up and stole his lunch money. I saw my missing humanity on the back of a milk carton, and I noticed that the expiration date had passed. I long for that feeling of security when I step from my brand new airtight vehicle and the closing of the door makes that sound. Safe. The car alarm only adds to the experience. Whoop! God, I love that sound. Sometimes I think I need a bigger whoop. Whoop, whoop.
I'm gonna build a wall bigger than in China. I don't wanna see other people's walls. Walls around their gardens, and walls around their hearts, and walls around their thoughts, and walls around their walls.
But still, I had this nettling and nattering dread that somewhere out there, there are angry, underclass, urban brown people that want to steal my lawn furniture. We need more cops on the streets. We need higher walls, more bars on windows. We need more handguns. We should be able to carry concealed weapons, but only we should be able to carry them. We need more therapists, more antidepressants, more driver's side airbags. We should have passenger side airbags. We should have side impact airbags. We should have pedestrian airbags. I need a better car alarm. Whoop! Please step away from the vehicle.
I'm gonna take a slow train down to Nicaragua. I'm gonna drink that coffee, smoke the marijuana, and I'm gonna have 10 children and name them Che Guevara. And they do have some walls there, but I could build a ladder.
We need more latex. We need more urine tests. We need more wax on fruit. We need more DDT. No, less DDT. Whoop! Do not penetrate the shrink-wrap vegetables.
You say that this is the way that it is. You say that this is the way that it is. You say that this is the way.
We need more plastic surgery. Look at you, people. We need more plastic surgery to protect us from time itself, because time is a thief, and I want to see it #1 on America's Most Wanted. Time should not be allowed to speed up during moments of excitement or slow down during periods of tedium. Time should be ordered to arrive on time. Whoop! Please step away from the vehicle.
They're gonna have a war. They don't need a reason. And if you don't like it, what they're gonna say, it's treason. You can go for freedom, and you can go for fuel, for greedy people who lie and cheat and steal.
In the remote chance that a snowball ever does have a chance in hell, heads should roll. And that's what the law should say. And we need more laws. We need tougher and mandatory sentencing laws. We need more death penalty statutes. We're gonna need more electric chairs. We should have electric sofas. We should have electric dining room sets. A lethal injection happy hour, 2 for the price of 1. And all you can eat hemlock, salad bar, and buffet. We should banish all uncertainty. Whoop, please step away from the vehicle. All spontaneous utterances should be memorized in advance. Whoop, please step away from the vehicle. All flights of the imagination should be grounded and searched for dangerous and smuggled cargo. Whoop, please step away from the vehicle. All monsters should remain under the bed and not fraternize with skeletons in the closet. Protect me, protect me. I have a vial of Prozac in one hand and a handgun in the other. My therapist is a card-carrying member of the NRA. Stop!
They're gonna have a war. They don't need a reason. And if you don't like it, they're gonna call it treason. You can go for freedom, and you can go for fuel, or for greedy people who lie and cheat and steal.
But that's not what this country was founded on. This country was founded by people who were willing to sail across the known horizon in search of an unknown land. It was the risk takers that went. The meek ones, they stayed back in Europe, saying, "Oh no, you guys go ahead, really, I'll be along. As soon as I finish this last Victor Hugo novel." As soon as you get settled, as soon as you tame the wilderness, as soon as you get cable, as soon as you get pinball machines. And they came. And then this country was founded on the spontaneity of thievery. But today, only the thievery remains. Because we are run by demagogues who run on campaign promises to make the trains run on time. But don't you see? That's the point. The trains are not supposed to run on time. We're supposed to hang out in train stations, looking at total strangers, making eye contact with total strangers, falling in love with total strangers. What we need is protection. What we need is protection. protection, protection from all this safety. Thank you. That is an old one that I wrote with a fellow named Phil Rockstro, and we played at the Maple Leaf earlier today for the longest running poetry reading in North America. It's been going since 1979 every Sunday, and I used to be a part of that back. I lived in New Orleans for about 10 years, and in the 90s, and I had a book published by Portals Press out of New Orleans called Protection from All This Safety, and it was written by me and Phil Rockstro, and it seemed appropriate to do that one tonight, so that's why we did it. This is from our latest album. Done about 18 albums, and this over the pandemic was the first time that is usually I would go out and play live shows and do these new numbers and say, oh, that's a good one, let's put that on. But it was the first time that I'd ever released a record where nobody had ever heard the pieces live before, so it was very daunting. And we were really anxious to get back out on the road, and well, it feels good to be back out on the road.
I've been crossing borders just to find you. Taking orders just to find you. I went south for a day, I came north for better pay. Dropped bad habits on the way, picked up more, what can I say?
The roadmap that is America unfolding ahead of me from God's own glove compartment. Then being used as a napkin to wipe the chicken grease from our fingers, purchased from the devil's own drive-thru, discarded out the window of want and somersaulting past silos and skyscrapers that materialize upon the horizon and then disappear through that tiny black hole that is my rear view.
It's true, I might have broke a heart in Mexico. She said, why don't you stay? But I had to go. There were crosses on the road. We're all dying, I'm told. Passing towns, forgotten names, but I miss them just the same.
Dogs and horses parading the pasture where dogwoods and horsemint bloom. Urban blight and rural decay. Solid white cotton fields like freshly fallen snow, softening the Carolina landscape, picked by illegal immigrants and shipped to chemical plants in Brazil, transformed into the latest polyfiber, 15% cotton, and shipped to Bangladesh, and sewn into tablecloths, and shipped back to South Carolina to be stocked upon the shelves of a Walmart by the very same people that once worked the textile mills that lie abandoned along the thin highways of fat America.
Got a secret message in my coffee cup. Studied books and magazines and burned them up. All the strangers were my friends. I was letting go again. If you can't take me there today, well, at least just point the way.
Purple mountains travesty and amber waves of inequity. Mud flap angels and divisive bumper stickers redefine patriotism on the rear bumper of a 1974 Ford Galaxy with a maskless driver and a West Virginia license plate. Billboards blaring God, guns, and gentlemen's clubs fail to see their own irony.
Lost days, long nights. I lost you once after the fight. I got my map on the table again.
A billboard with a baseball glove, apple pie, and an AR-15. Pure American, it reads. high-heeled Hellcat and fishnets, hot legs, always hiring, beer special, noon to 4 a.m., amateurs and couples welcome at Reed's. And on Easter Sunday, Jesus Christ himself, embossed in stark black and white post-social realism, with bright red realistic blood dripping from an etched crown of thorns, and the billboard reads, "This blood's for you."
It's just gonna hurt if you care too much. Let's forget our feelings and rely on touch. I was out catching trains, I was late missing planes. I heard rumors on the way that I'd cross your path someday.
Headlights on and gas prices as low as the traffic and my expectations. 18-wheelers lined up at ports of call, ferrying prime next-day deliveries beneath telephones and power lines, refineries and rainbows, and the freshly paved asphalt glistens prismatic in the Appalachian drizzle.
Lost days, long nights, I lost you once after the fight. Got my map on the table again.
Windshield wipers slapping time, I was holding no one's hand in mine.
Lost days, long nights, I lost you once after the fight. Got my map on the table again.
As I sang every song the radio knew. You switch guitars there, Paul?
I sure am.
Awesome. We're going to do a couple more from the new record. I like doing this one indoors because it has a word in it that, you know, when we go play at festivals, we're not allowed to do it because it's got that word in it, and you'll know what it is as soon as it comes up. Rain makes me feel less alone. All rain is a cloud falling apart and pouring its shadowed pieces on top of you. And it makes me good to feel that other things in nature fall apart. It's not that my heart is breaking, it's that I am falling apart. And why should my heart be any different? But falling apart is great because it's the only time in life you get to put yourself back together any way you want to.
I got a wind-up bird, don't care about nothing at all. I got little rays of sunshine in my heart. All the lovable freaks out in the street. Get on up and you can find a place to meet.
And anyway, rain clouds just add rich color to an otherwise merely blue sky. And who wants to feel blue all the time? I mean, don't get me wrong, I celebrate the blues. I mean, hell, I work with Paul Benoit. Besides that, I've been to Clarksville, Mississippi. I have, in my glove compartment out there in the parking lot, I have a bag of dirt from the corner of Highway 61 and Mississippi 49. So yeah, I celebrate the blues, but I didn't make me no deal with the devil, but not for lack of trying. I mean, sure, Robert Johnson is the king of the blues, but a king's hat King's crown is just a hat with a hole in it that lets the rain in. Perhaps there is a reason that rain and rain sound the same.
Don't you know everything is temporary? Tomorrow's sun is different than today's. Holding on really isn't necessary. Just let things go your own way.
Rain is just the sky visiting the earth to perform symphonies upon tin roofs. So when the rain begins to fall, it may seem that it has no purpose at all, but it is merely filling its destiny to fall and to fall and to fall again. Because, my friends, that is how it cracks the stone prison walls of suffering, by falling, gently falling, like Tim Mason used to say, gently like water cracking stone.
All the friends we lost, all the bridges we crossed, all the targets we missed by a mile, and the blind machines don't mean nothing to me. I would give it all away to see a smile.
And from its falling, the ground beneath my feet is nurtured, and that is the moment that life begins. And I have lived with pain in my life.
Don't you know everything is temporary? All you have is all that you borrow. Holding on really isn't necessary. All you want, you will lose tomorrow.
And I only exacerbate the agony when I fail to genuflect to the heavy perfume of wild magnolias and azaleas. And I only exacerbate the agony when I fail to genuflect to the lonesome tune of crickets on humid nights. And when I fail to genuflect to the rivers that run like clocks with no numbers. And when I fail to genuflect to the new constellations that appear and reappear through the shapes of dark clouds that pass overhead at night.
Don't you know?
And I fail to
everything is
genuflect
temporary. Tomorrow's
to the morning
sun is
rainbow
different than
that
today.
arches its back, having a three-way with the sun that rises and the rain that falls and seeps deep into the earth's core, so that the people in hell can have a sip of water. Thanks. I think our plan, as much as we have a plan, I know that New Orleans is not a town to make plans in. Do you mind being called New Orleans? I mean, like one time I was in Northampton, and I said, "Oh, it's great to be here in Amherst," and they're like, "Oh my God," because they're like right next to each other. You know, I mean, I probably couldn't get away with going to a club in New Orleans and say it's great to be here in Metairie, but.
Well, we're gonna play a song for New Orleans.
The universe is simultaneously expanding and contracting. Each new measurement of the known universe tells a confusing story, and every confusing story creates more to be measured.
Every 7 years, I gotta change my name.
Facts are no longer remembered, but stored in an off-brain facility.
I don't feel different, but I'm not the same.
Our frontal lobes, once our mighty claws and talons, have been removed and held in a fragile handheld device.
autumn till June, stumbling till December.
One that requires a monthly payment plan.
Keep my promises if I could remember.
And without this corporate account, we are banished from the new society.
Every time I walk, I'm in a different place.
The hive brain is massive, yet our own brain is shrinking.
Every time I look, I see a different face.
Because the universe is simultaneously expanding and contracting.
I'm not complaining, I'm just saying I don't know my name. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying I don't know my name.
Math skills gone in the 70s. With handheld calculator, multiplication tables gone the way of the dodo bird, Blockbuster Video, and whiteout. Mark Twain once said, "Never trust a man who can't figure out more than one way to autocorrect a word." It's true, I read it on the internet. It's also true that I was once arrested and stripped of my cell phone and therefore could not make my one phone call because I did not know anyone's phone number. Global positioning satellites suck our sense of direction through a vacuum known as dependence. I can navigate anywhere and nowhere simultaneously. As a species, we hear more music than anyone else in human history, yet together we can barely sing happy birthday. Though I stand on the shoulders of giants, I am still an ant.
I woke up this morning, I had disappeared. There was no one in my bed, there was no one near. I called the detective to track me down. He was out of the office, he was out of town.
I communicate with more people on a daily basis than the entire cities my ancestors built, yet I actually communicate with fewer and fewer upon every tweet. My body of knowledge is growing thinner. Just as a soap bubble expands, it gets larger, but as it gets larger, its walls grow thinner because the universe is simultaneously expanding and contracting. I can ban who I want to from my universe and accept only those that I desire, and by doing so, I am creating a cult of clones, building Berlin walls, Great Walls of China, Mexican border walls of the soul.
Just saying, I don't know my name. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying, I don't know my name. Ooh, I don't know.
I can read more newspapers than anyone before me, but every article I read, the next is researched with the vigor of a fourth grade social studies student, plagiarizing his textbook to turn in his assignment by the midterm deadline, all to be patted on the head by the denizens of Dummyland. And on top of that, every article I read, the next is more narrowly tailored to me, the next based on what I last read. The ads I see are tailored to me. I am drowning in a sea of me. Endless cycles of inward looking, Narcissus masturbating in a hall of mirrors, and the brain attempt to inbreed with himself. Incestuous ignominy.
Whisper strange things in my deaf ear. not feel, no, I could not hear. Every 7 years I feel new again. Won't you come on over and see me there?
We all long to release.
I'm not complaining.
Release.
I'm just saying I don't know my name.
Release a smorgasbord
I'm not
of
complaining.
half-baked, half-researched,
I don't know my name.
half-thought through, but fully self-referenced hypotheses, all in the urgent need to get more followers, more retweets, more truths, more likes, more friends, so that for a second, for 1 second, we can feel that someone out there, somewhere, loves us.
Thank you.
Thanks, I appreciate that. You guys good? You're comfortable? Our plan, though, we're going to do one more and take a little break and come back and do all this all over again. Give you a
Different
moment
song,
to
so.
give you a moment to refill your beverages.
We'll take a break, see if they're going to turn on Tempest for me. I keep looking around and I see it brings me back to the 7-Eleven when I had my paper out. My dad said, "Don't go to the 7-Eleven, play pinball. If I catch you at that 7-Eleven, I'm going to whip your ass ball." And I go to the 7-Eleven every day after with Mark Dow. Yeah. But they had Tempest there, I remember, in Asteroids. Because he thought that the pot dealers were there at the 7-Eleven.
Well, they were.
But
And that's why you went.
What he didn't know is that I was the pot dealer. No, not till later. Not when I have my paper out. Okay, just kidding. So there's a sing-along here. There's a refrain, and it goes, "Don't go back to sleep." So you can sing it with me if you want. Can you hear the harmony? Don't go back to sleep.
In the before times,
I like it when you're next to me. Don't go back to sleep.
we sat upon our couches
There were angels on the radio.
and we hit the TV remote.
Devils in the dawn.
And the little white dot appeared in the static.
Someone singing loudly.
And from that static,
But I can't hear the
the
song.
television calmly commanded,
Don't go back to sleep.
buy a Toyota. But today, in these trying times, the television speaks with a somber tone.
Master knows when every sparrow falls. Don't go back to sleep.
And the television says in these trying times,
And you will answer when he calls. Don't go back to sleep.
buy a Toyota.
Memories caught in the wire. The hounds let loose your mad desire.
But I say celebrate these
So much
trying
to
times.
hold and more to give away.
Celebrate how we can come
We were
together.
drowsy every day. Don't go back to sleep.
Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. But I do not wish to inherit the earth.
Light a lamp, talk to your shadow. Don't go back to sleep.
The illiterate quote the ignorant
It's no ordinary battle.
in an effort to mask
Don't go back to sleep.
the refusal to wear a mask
Lost again in the sea's lips.
as rugged individual.
We're all sailing on a sinking ship.
The very same ones
A voyage ended in the sand.
ride us as sheep.
and never coming back again.
And to that I say,
Don't go back to sleep.
be a shepherd. We must be strong enough to stand alone, yet wise enough to stand together. And we cannot fly unless we first stand. When we stand together, we realize the lifting power of many wings can achieve twice the distance of any single bird flying alone. And when the bird in front tires, he flies to the back so that he may rest in the draft of the others. It is indeed your attitude that determines our altitude, and our altitude is determined by the attitude of those we fly with. Won't you fly with me? It is no coincidence that both sheep and bird travel as a flock. And today, I think of the essential workers as the essential members of our flock. Sheep and bird both flying point and folding back into the flock. And some get plenty of praise. First responders, cops, nurses, firefighters. But hell, they have good salaries. They have pensions. They have a voice that is being heard. We honor them often and loudly. But what about the others? Let us hear from them. The truck drivers, the meat packers, the pet food canners. They are our saviors.
Lightly over sorrow. Don't go back to sleep.
Saved are the sanitation workers.
It might visit you tomorrow.
Precious are the postal workers.
Don't go back to sleep.
For they are glorious.
Love, mercy, and soothing grace.
Glorious are the garbage workers.
To lift you to a higher place.
The TikTok go-go girls.
Craving to be what you could not be.
For you are hallowed.
It's like arguing with electricity.
And for you I shout,
Don't go back to sleep.
hallelujah. Beautiful are the beverage bottlers. Absolved are the auto mechanics. Christened are the computer repair people, for you are transcendent, and transcendent are the tasks of the lowest of the low, magnified by the looking glass of 10,000 eyeballs that see at once. The strength of the whole is defined by the individual, and the strength of the individual is created by the whole. Holy, holy are the highway maintenance men. Holy are the hoi polloi. Holy are the vandals for vigilance. Holy are those that howl for humanity. Holy are the riffraff of righteousness. Holy are the wretched rank and file rabble yearning to be roused. Bodacious are the bodega attendants, forever the farmers and pharmacists. Luscious are the liquor store lackeys. Magnificent the marijuana dispensaries. And perfect the protesters. The aforementioned vandals for vigilance, because they, after all, are essential.
I'm okay with the mystery.
As they face the tear gas of oppression,
Don't go back to sleep.
to burn down the before time,
The different ways it feels to me.
so that the meek shall
Don't
rise
go back to sleep.
from the ashes of the past
So many voices from the sea.
to inherit a world
Don't go back to sleep.
that we have all helped to make
And all the unplayed melodies.
worthy of inheriting.
Don't go back to sleep.
Thank you so much. I'm Chris Chandler. This is Paul Benoit. We're going to take a very short break and come right back in a few minutes.
All right, give it up, give it up. So this is set one. They're going to come back for another set real soon. We got on the screen for those of you watching in the stream. You can send them your love via PayPal at Bald Chandler and Venmo at the Chris Chandler Show. And I guess how long you want to take a break and how soon you're going to come back up?
Let us reconvene at 9:35.
All right. We'll see everybody shortly for set 2. So thanks everybody for tuning in, and hang out for more.
Thank you so much. Thanks for all the good work you do. You really got it going on, man. Like running around, the sound is great, and you're doing video, and like I'm very impressed. Yeah, yeah. You're rocking it, man. Yeah.
I need to clone myself.
You're on top of shit. Yeah, you do, man. And you're running the operation too. It's like
I'll give you guys a tour before we.
Cool. I love it. I love that. Thanks. Thanks.
So if you're a Tempest fan, inspiring.
Yeah.
I keep it off because it's my favorite game.
Oh, really? You know,
It works.
I'll do a I'll do one. Chandler? So we'll just do maybe like 3 in the second set, you think? Really? We'll figure it out. 6? That's a long set.
We're getting a really good copy of the audio and the video.
Oh, okay, good.
So this footage can be used for other things.
Okay, cool.
And one of the things we can do is we can restream it later too.
Okay, cool. That's good. PinChurch, you still understanding? The eyes of you? No.
All right, all right. Second set is going to be starting in just a moment. For you guys that are here at in the place, we have our tip jar. We're going to be passing that around. Obviously, the guys are very dependent upon, people showing their gratitude as they're traveling all around the country. Yes, and they've got merch over there too. And what's your website if anybody's interested?
Well, if you can remember my name, it's Chris Chandler, and it's chrischandler.org. I'm an organizer, not a communist.
Okay. And you guys I see you've got books. You've got a couple books you've done. You've got CDs.
I do. I certainly do. Paul and I just put out a new record called Don't Go Back to Sleep, which we've just played the title track of. We're very proud of it. We still actually make things that you can carry with you, actual CDs. Beautiful artwork, and Paul did a great job producing it. I'm on my 35th anniversary of doing this, but on my 25th, I put out an anthology called Avoiding Godot. I'm glad you got that. And I've got a collection of one-liners that I put out for my 30th anniversary. Give me a number between 1 and 130. If Christ died for my paltry sins, I figure he overreacted.
All right, everybody, give it up for Chris Chandler.
And Paul Benoit.
And Paul Benoit.
I was in a grocery store parking lot in Tirana, I think it was. And there were 4 lanes of heavy traffic zooming by, and I saw what I considered to be a break in the traffic. So I pulled out to the sound of screeching tires and honking horns and the sight of normally polite Canadians giving me the finger. Not to mention the sight of sound of an irate Ann Feeney saying, "Didn't you see that sign?" What sign? The one that clearly said, "Do not enter." Yeah, I saw it, but you decided to do it anyway. Well, yeah, I wasn't entering, I was exiting.
I built a house in my head, gonna live there till I'm dead, with all the books I read. I hung my heart in the trees for what everyone to say. Don't mean a thing to me.
Every entranceway is an exit, and every exit is an entrance. After all, it is the opening of the door that is the key, not the key that opens the door. And once you go through that door, you will be humbler, wiser, filled with regret and remorse. And you and the world you left behind and the one you are entering will never be the same again, but you will be better equipped to take on the world that lies in front of you.
I know I'm bad, but I'm good. Try to do the things I should, then I knock on wood. I can't remember where I've been, but I count upon my sins. The lines are on my skin.
There are those who walk through this life pointing out the doors that we should go through. The literal doorman of the unconscious, the one checking IDs or IDs, no ego, and collecting the universal cover charge.
Isn't it beautiful? Isn't it mystical? Isn't it plain to see?
Perhaps that's why my favorite holiday is Halloween. Because Halloween is about listening for your own doors to be rapped upon and then handing out rewards to the ones that haunt you the most. And conversely, Halloween is not about finding the right costume. It's about deciding what you might become and then acting upon it and rapping upon the doors of total strangers for the sole purpose of being rewarded for your actions.
I'm just a dog in the grass. I roll and let time pass. It's not too much to ask. I'm sleeping later in my bed, so I can't forget the dumb things that I said.
I always ask my fellow commuters along the toll road of perpetuity, what broke your heart so badly that you had to close every door and never fix the doorbell? After all, it is the opening of the door that is the key. And one kind word can grant you the heavens. And one kind word is the door that needs to be opened. And that door is attached to a wall, which is attached to a floor, which actually is the ground upon which we walk.
I'm getting older, but I'm young. Don't matter what I sung. Sometimes I just hum.
Be an opener of doors. Prove that chivalry is not dead. And by doing so, you will be the next contestant on The Life is Right. And you alone can tell us all just what is behind door number 1.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. That one is also from our new album. This next one is the title track from our album called I'm not going to give away the punchline, but it's the one before that. Shit. I got a pocket call from my dreams. It was hard to hear what they were saying. All I could hear was their muffled voices on the other end of the line. But then again, my dreams have always been hard to interpret.
We light the fire in which we burn. We are the prisoners with the key. And all the secrets that we learn, they roll like waves upon the sea.
I stepped into a quiet place where I could listen. I mean, come on, how often do you get to eavesdrop on your own dreams? They seem to be hanging out with the dreams of others. Who were these dreams my dreams were hanging out with? They seem to be into this seedy bar. It was filled with the questionable characters of illusions, delusions of grandeur, and this one arrogant bastard, intoxicated on the smell of his own musk and brandishing a handgun and calling himself the American Dream.
Painted puppets, jointed limbs. We run hanging on a string. Gallows humor always wins. You realize eventually
My dreams were making fun of me. He doesn't take us seriously. He likes to lie in the tall grass and look up at the clouds and build castles that he'll never see the inside of. He doesn't take us seriously, I tell you. He's always going to those hippie festivals and banding about quotes that he learns on bumper stickers like, maybe if we all had the same dream, our dreams would become a reality. What are we not real? I mean, Martin Luther King had a dream on a mountain. Did he really have a dream? Was he really on a mountain? Does that make it any less real?
I don't believe the believers and all the stories that they sell. Break pickers, bottom feeders are the ones I'm wishing well.
And then one of my dreams goes to buy this one hot little wet dream a drink. But he reaches for his wallet, and his wallet is gone. Someone had pickpocketed my dreams. Must have been a very bad dream. But she didn't miss a beat. She said, don't worry, honey. If giving is better than receiving, then wanting must be better than having. Turns out she was just another pipe dream. Because she's mounted upon the mighty mare of misconception and rode off. Because one man's high horse is another man's nightmare.
We're all waiting for the cure. We're all talking to our beats. One thing I know for sure, you can't depend on anything.
And at one end of the bar, there was this one lonely dream, lonely and miserable. Another lost dream in a tavern full of other lost dreams. Naturally, my dreams sat down beside him because my dreams have always gravitated towards lost causes. Turns out he was once a great dream. In fact, a dreamer. But you know the thing that sucks about having good ideas is that mountains of hard work will surely follow. And what self-respecting dream dreams of mountains of hard work? Perhaps that's why he was suffering from pre-traumatic stress disorder.
I dreamt a war upon my dreams, and all the things of which I dwell became the shape of my world and the crust of my mind shell.
And my dreams descended down the bar, a long smoky cavern full of glittering lights, busty barkeeps, and really tired music. That's right, my dreams were in a casino. What, your dreams gamble? Is nothing sacred? Well, yes, but if nothing is sacred, what does that make everything? And with that, I pulled the one-armed bandit of alternative realities, and I heard the sound of gold coins landing in the tiny purses of little old ladies. I took some of the winnings, and I purchased a GPS for my lost dreams, but it just kept saying over and over again, recalculating, recalculating, recalculating. But still, trumpets heralded the fortunes of others. There was a balloon drop. There were alarms. There were whistles. There were buzzers. There were buzzers. There were buzzers. There were buzzers. Why, that's no slot machine. That's the alarm clock. My dream is over.
They're burning all the fields again. I can smell the charcoal leaves carried in the western wind and drifting into everything.
Unless, well, what would you do? I took that alarm clock and I threw it across the room and it smashed into a million pieces. Or maybe I just mashed the snooze button. Because I don't know about you, but I sometimes mistake my imagination for my memory. But as soon as I mashed the snooze button, there were my dreams. Dancing. Hands reaching to an iridescent sky. Their faces were painted blue, and they were naked. And believe me, seeing my naked dreams is not a pretty sight. It was a nightmare. It was worse than a nightmare. My dreams were on a vision quest. and they were singing in 12-part harmony. In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. And I'm thinking, if you people don't stop singing Weemawa, you're gonna wake the lion up. And I realized, no, I had just switched my alarm over from alarm to radio. And one thing's for sure, I've got to stop listening to NPR.
Like the fire in which we burn, we are the prisoners with the key, and all the secrets that we learn, they roll like waves upon the sea.
I knew that if I mashed the snooze button one more time, I was going to be crossing that thin line between genius and insanity, and I wasn't sure in which direction I was headed. So I did as I suggest you do at home. When in doubt, mash the snooze button. Because we dreamers are only happy when we're asleep. But as soon as I mashed the snooze button, I saw that my dreams had been imprisoned. And a crowd had gathered, and they were carrying signs that said, "Free the dreams, free the dreams." They implored me to act, and I said, yes, great minds think alike. But they said, actually, average minds think alike. And so I said, if I knew all the answers, I'd have a whole lot of questions. And with that, the ground began to rumble, as if it were a mighty earthquake, bringing down the prison walls of my dreams. Actually, my phone was just on vibrate, and I had received a pocket call from my dreams, or perhaps it was a wake-up call. Thanks.
Thank you. I'm just going to play a few more songs for you. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you guys for gathering around here at the PinChurch. This has been fun. We got a nice little tour around the building. And any of you people at home, I can't see you. All I can see is like a camera up in the sky. But yeah,
Hi, people at home.
You should come check this place out. It's if you love pinball, which I actually happen to love pinball, this is a great place to hang out.
If you're a pinball wizard.
I am no wizard. Those who don't know history, those who do know history, are condemned to watch everyone else repeat it.
Shine your light, burning bright. You got that golden beat. I'm alright, not too tight. It's just the king's dream.
It was Plato that said knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. But I was thinking that knowing myself just justifies my persecution complex. Now, my persecution complex comes about because I am a performer and vicariously hang out with other performers. And between you and me, I am sick of all these people with their massive egos who have no interest in me. They look at me as if I have failed, but I say to you, I have not failed. I am the grand discoverer of a new way that does not work. Someone should make me a plaque.
Poison hard, don't you start. Don't you poison me. Made me jump, got my bump. I got that harmony.
I mean, to me, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over again and actually getting different results. I mean, take the wheel. They say that the wheel was humankind's greatest invention. But I say to you, it was not the wheel. It was the axle. But even that invention was once feared. I mean, can you imagine being the first guy walking through the woods and seeing some kid, and it was definitely a kid, pushing something on a cart, looking over to his friend and saying, back in my day, we just picked up heavy shit and carried it.
Thunder rocket, lightning hop kids, fever break kids, don't mistake it.
Because if you think about it, all scientific facts that we know on this earth to be true were once considered to be taboo. Every single human invention was once thought to be poppycock. All human discoveries were a threat to some doctrine, some dogma, somewhere. All artistic achievement was once smeared as vice. But in fact, all human progress has come about because somebody, somewhere, at some time, refused to bow to authority, but instead bowed to a higher force, the unstoppable force of ideas. My friends, we could not have come out of the trees. We could not have gone into the trees. We could not have crawled out of the primordial ooze if it were not for the insubordination of the rebellious act.
Cadillac, long and black, I'm gonna drive you back. Hold that door back for more. I'm gonna fill my sack.
And I admit it, sometimes I'm afraid to be rebellious. I was afraid to face my fears, so I turned my back on them. Because we all had to face the fact that we are not going to live forever. But I say to you that that is good, because I do not want to live forever. But I want to help you, help me, help us build a world that will last forever. And that's the truth I seek, and I love those who seek the truth. They're my peeps, and those of us who seek the truth are usually afraid of anyone who says they know the truth. After all, one single daydream will change a million realities, and the only way to build a new reality is to dream. So I say, when life feels like a nightmare, and I know lately life has felt like a nightmare, but when life feels like a nightmare, wake up, take a nap, and dream.
I was lifted.
And remember
I was shifted.
that dreams, ideas, and imagination
My tether
are the only weapon we have
in bad weather.
against reality. And remember that no one created this world except for you and me. The Bible has been misinterpreted. The world was not created in 6 days because the world has not been created, because the world is still being created, and not in 6 days, in 3. And yesterday is gone. Tomorrow we will never see, leaving us only today. And my friends, all we got is this one short life to walk upon this earth, stare into the clouds, and imagine the world's glorious creation, because your imagination is the world's creation. There is no God or forever, and for that I thank God forever. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. So,
Gonna do eyes?
yeah. Happy Easter. We're going to do one last song. This is called The Antichrist. It's really about unconditional love.
If you look into the eyes of evil and do not see your own reflection, you have not really loved.
I am the Antichrist. Nobody loved me. Nobody cared.
We have willfully walked down a spiral into a hell of our own making. We've already done it. So let us make it be for a reason. Make it be for the purpose of looking into the eyes of evil so that we may see our own reflection. It would be a disservice to forget that our own self-righteous stances are always mirrored in the eyes of another.
I don't want to complain. It's so boring. But what else can I do? I'm the Antichrist.
Our core values have been exposed, leaving a hollow foundation, longing to be filled, and is being filled, but filled with a vacuum, sucking more emptiness and the vacant core expands. Hell has always been at the center of the earth. However, the earth's core is now hollow, and hell is emptiness. And no amount of finger pointing is going to get us out unless our fingers are pointed at ourselves. Because real eyes realize real lies.
Come on, come on, come on and love somebody. Come on, come on, come on and love somebody. Come on, come on, come on and love somebody now.
The only time that I feel like I'm beginning to extricate myself from this nightmare is when I honestly feel that I love someone more than I disagree with them. And I truly believe there is something deeper going on here. As Yeats pointed out, things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world, and the blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is lost. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are filled with passionate intensity.
I'm gonna blame it on my father. He never loved me. He never cared.
A nation founded on genocide and slavery that also touts itself as the freest on earth is the lie that we've all been living. The center cannot hold. Both parties are complicit. The center cannot hold. The lesser of two evils leaves us only with the evil of two lessers. The center cannot hold. Our work must be more important than getting left or right in office again. It is all of us revamping our assumptions and seeing people as more than whatever ideological category they fit in, perpetuating the falsely constructed binary confines of the computer age.
If you sow the seeds for paradise, I'm gonna dig them up, 'cause I'm the Antichrist. So come on,
Black, white, Democrat, Republican, male, female, Latino, Latina, Latinx, gay, straight, mask, no mask, nonviolent, violent, stand, kneel, American League, National League, perpetuating the falsely constructed binary confines of the computer age. We've been conditioned to do this by the capitalist media, which literally depends on these binary controversies to ensue its own continuance. For once, media depended upon the dollars of the solvent to purchase ads catered to the solvent as they peddled points of view that aligned with the solvent. The sinner cannot hold. But today, media depends upon the micro pennies of the insolvent to purchase clickbait by peddling binary battles to the broke and bankrupt. The center cannot hold. If you have a point of view, you can find someone to further it and listen only to them. The center cannot hold. And this may seem like a completely absurd situation, but it perfectly mirrors the complete impotence of both parties and sadly reveals the emptiness at the center of the American dream. The center cannot hold. And we have been trying to fill this emptiness with materialism, Hallmark holidays, sports, and endless infotainment, which has become a Romanesque spectacle, complete with music critics selling clickbait as they debate with vicious, vulgar vigor the finer points of Nero's fiddle playing. Come
Thanks,
on, and love someone.
everybody. Love somebody on this
Thank you so
Easter
much. My name's
day.
Chris Chandler,
Chris
Paul
Chandler,
Benoit.
Paul Benoit. Thanks. Have a great night.
It's been a pleasure
All you
performing
pinball
for you.
wizards.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Be sure to show your love for the guys on the PayPal links and everything.
Thank you so much for having us, Mike. And I have
Thank
to ask
you,
you,
man.
that if there are pinball wizards, does like the winner in the contest become the grand wizard?
Quite, you never know. All right, everybody. Thanks so much. We're going to continue the party here, and there's merchandise and stuff like that, so people can see the merchandise here. And of course, if you want to find out about the merchandise online, you can go to chrischandler.org. Huh?
That's right. I'm an organizer, not a communist.